Hey guys, it's Lindsay and welcome back to my channel and to another plan with me. So for this week I'm planning out the week of March 18th through the 24th and I'm using the Boho Babe from Scribble Co. I mentioned this in the honey plan with me that I was skipping the week of the 11th through the 17th. That is the week of St. Patrick's Day. Purely just because it has nothing to do with St. Patrick's Day, but it's purely because I did not fully write down all of my plans for that week. So I am probably still going to plan it out. It's just not going to be planned out on camera. So, just so you guys know. But yeah, I'm using the Boho Babe kit from Scribble Co. I figured this was a very, it's a very, I want to say clean kit, but that's not what it's like a very neutral-y kit. I can't really explain it, but I really, really liked this kit. I'm not a big fan of, the art style of it, but the kit itself, I, fell in love with. Boho-y. That's the word. I was like, there's a word. Oh, it's literally called boho. Really, Lindsay? Okay. Anyway, I digress. Moving on. So I put the Simply Gilded pink bows with gold foil down at the bottom and my washi, and then I'm just going through and putting down all of the full boxes. There was actually not a double box in this kit, which was an interesting change. So I'm like, there's no double box in here. So now I got to figure out what I'm doing. Also, I put down that box that I adjusted. I still put it down crooked. So yeah, that was how that was going. I put down actually a lot of stickers crooked. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm just struggling lately with putting down stickers or what, but we struggle sometimes with getting these things straight. Anyway, I'm putting down the full boxes, glitter headers, deco, and everything. All of my overlays are from Scribble Co. I'm looking at them. Oh wait, I lied. There is a couple that are little flourishy floral ones, which I put on the Wednesday full box, and I think it's just the Wednesday full box. Yeah. That is from Sadie Stickers, but the rest of the overlays are from Scribble Co. I also put down little lines and stuff on some of them just because I wanted to make it look very organic and boho, and I figured that would be the best one or best way to do that. And I use a lot of floral ones just because I don't know, I wanted to change it up a little bit. Didn't want to use all of the full boxes, but yeah, everything that I used apart from the one full box overlay on Wednesday is from Scribble Co. The Wednesday one is from Sadie Stickers. And yeah, that's kind of the basis for everything. Putting down all the deco right now, and I did white out this flag over here in the corner, just so I can use as much deco as possible. And then we move on to the sidebar after that, which is pretty basic, normal sidebar as normal. My two habit trackers, I used 5mm washi from Simply Gilded, and then I did my box and everything as well. And I actually did not have any what's it called? Extra full boxes for this kit. I didn't have any Fashion Girls because it already had so many Fashion Girls in the kit itself. So the last box is that one random box that comes on the washi sheet. That's the last box that's on the corner for the sidebar. But I also didn't have washi because there is no washi. Usually I'll use that full box as washi. So I had to cut this washi. I had to cut the bottom washi to fit so I could use a squared off box, and it ended up being too small, but I was not going to go back and fix it. So that looks a little off, but that is totally okay. But yeah, so I'm trying to think what happened. Oh, this was a fun and interesting week. I believe this is the week. Yeah. So I will get into it a little bit more later on, but my dad got admitted to the hospital this week. I think I mentioned to you guys that there was something else that was going to happen on this week, and it did. My dad got admitted into the hospital, which again, I will kind of explain a little bit more once we get into that, that day specifically in that area. So, moving on to Monday, like I said, my sidebar and everything's my normal sidebar, and I did fill it out with the nose pen and the step goal. I did change my step goal from meditation, because I have not been meditating. I stopped meditating, so that is why that is the step goal. So first thing I did on Monday was I put down the work label that is from the kits, and then I used a munchkin underneath that's chilling with the pillow to mark that I was so tired. I was super tired. I'm honestly I'm exhausted nowadays, purely just because everything has been kicking me in the butt lately, and the point that I'm at for work is okay, we're going to start kicking you in the butt to make sure you're doing this, certain things, and I'm just exhausted in general. So, I used that munchkin to mark that. I then used a phone icon from the kit to mark that I needed to call scheduling. Not entirely sure why I had to call scheduling. Probably I got moved or something. Oh yeah, I think I got moved because I had to go to costuming as well. So I used that, and then I used a little emoji from the Coffee Monsters code to mark that I needed to go to costuming. I am pretty positive that they moved me, and that's probably why I had to go to costuming and why I had to call scheduling. I'm pretty positive I had to go get a different costume for it because they moved me into a different location. If anyone's ever curious, like, I don't know if I've ever explained this, I can get moved to locations. I work the main location, like the same locations for the most part all the time, just because that is my area. But I can get moved literally like in the middle of my shift. I can move like 5 minutes before my shift. I can move like 3 hours before my shift. So this day I just happened to get moved. And then moving down below, because I got moved and I had to go to costuming, I ended up being late. So I used a munchkin to mark that because I was not planning on obviously having to go get a new costume. But because they moved me, I ended up having to go get that new costume. So I did flip over that munchkin over to the other side, and then I put down a fancy label and a little wonton and a million steamy. I kept saying suey, I believe, in my haul, and I apologize for that. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why I kept saying that, but I'm pretty positive this one is steamy, and it was for our OG training. So the OG is our operating guide, and all of us had to go through the training to make sure that everyone had like a solid foundation again, because there was a couple things that had changed in our operation, so we had to go through that whole training. And the reason why I have the like hypnotized eyes on here is because literally when you were staring at it, it was so boring because it's the most driest stuff ever, and most of it was the same, but we still had to go through it, and we still had to go through the training. But like, I'll be staring at the computer and be like, I'm trying to pay attention, and I'm like slowly losing my mind. So we had OG training on that day. It was a very interesting time. And then because I had the OG training, my shift was very interesting, and I had a weird split shift. So I then had to go to my location of where I was, and I had an hour and a half to catch up on an 8 hours worth of, or an 8 hours. What am I trying to say? I had to catch up on the whole entire days, essentially. So I usually work 8-hour shifts. I had to then catch up and put that all into an hour and a half. So that was the worst part about everything, was that I then had to catch up on that. So I used a little, I believe it's one of the Angry Munchkins, and I cut off the WTF on it. And I used that to mark the insane day at work, because literally one of the most insane days at work, because I was trying to catch up on everything, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And then I used the Vox and Cactus Scroll, just kind of chilling underneath that to mark a late night food binge, because I was hungry. I did not eat much that day, and I had such a bad headache from staring at a computer for so long. I was like, I'm going to binge on food. That's what I'm going to do. So that was it for Monday. Moving on to Tuesday, first thing I did was put down the work label. For some reason I did, because of the OG training. I was like, for some reason I worked on the Monday. It was because of the OG training. So I put down that work label as always, and then I took a wonton and a million steamy sticker that is in like Scrubs to mark that I restarted Grey's Anatomy, which I still have not finished. I have, no joke, half a season left. I think it's the last, like, most recent season that was on TV. I have half of that season left, and then I'm caught up on it, and I still have not finished it, because I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm tired of watching this. I need, like, a new show or something, because I had binge watched it for months, no joke, months, to try to catch up on what I was behind on, and I still need to watch the rest of it, and I still have not done it. So we will get there eventually. But I restarted Grey's Anatomy on this day. I actually started at season like 7 or something like that, because I had rewatched all the way up to season 7, stopped, and then like just decided to not continue it. And when I restarted it, I decided to restart it from that stopping point that I had originally. So that is what that is. I then put a half box down underneath that and a Amazon Munchkin from Once More With Love to mark a Amazon order. I placed some kind of Amazon order. I don't remember which Amazon order it was, because I've been ordering quite frequently on Amazon than I did before. I didn't used to order very often on there, but I've been ordering more on there for some reason. So we placed that order. Underneath that, I then took a Munchkin that's on the phone. I didn't quite know what else to mark. Oh my gosh, we struggling. I didn't know what else to use to mark this, but I bought new phone cases like the week before this, and I believe they got delivered, and I didn't want to use another package icon because I already had the Amazon one. So I used the little munchkin with the phone to mark new phone cases, which if any of you have ever heard of Caseify, it's actually, they're a little bit more expensive cases, but they are really, really cute, and they are pretty good quality as well. So I recommend you guys go check them out if you are not already. They have really cute designs, and I bought 2 designs off of there. I'm not sponsored or anything like that, just I like it. So as you can see, I am currently struggling hardcore with this little thing right here. I struggled for so long with it because it was so crooked and it bothered me so much. And every time I tried to fix it, it was still crooked. It bothered me to no end. You have no idea. So yeah, anyway, I digress. Moving on. Underneath the phone, I put a Simply Watercolor Co. coffee cup to mark a Starbucks run. I really like those coffee cups just because they have that gold foil bow on them. And then I used that little thing, like I said, to mark that I needed to submit a trade, and I used a clock icon from the kit with that. When I use the mini icons, I like using little things with it just because it's still so crooked. Oh my gosh. Even like me looking at it right now, I'm like, ugh. I like using little things with the mini icons just because I feel like the mini icons get a little lost when you don't use some kind of label with them. So that is why I use the little thing label on there. And then last but not least for Tuesday, sorry I'm moving if you guys can hear things. I know, you guys probably don't really care at all. I used a you got this or like yes type munchkin to mark that I was feeling positive. You guys know me, I like to mark when I'm feeling positive or upset or anytime I'm busy, stuff like that, just because I like to see how frequent it is. Lately it's been a lot more frequent that I've been positive and having a good day, which is always nice, but every now and then I do get those bad days. So like I said, just like to mark it just so I can keep track of when I am having a good day, when I'm not having a good day, when I'm feeling positive, when I'm not feeling positive, stuff like that. So yeah, that is it for Tuesday. Moving on to Wednesday, which eventually, hopefully, I will catch up to Wednesday in theory. First thing I did was I took a one of those squared off boxes, and I tried to use as much green as possible in this kit. I actually really wanted to use a green washi, but I didn't have one that matched perfectly, so I used the green label, and I tried to use as much green as possible just so I could pull in that green, because we never ever get to use green. So I put in that squared off kind of medium box and a Coffee Monsters Co. emoji. This is one from the spring sheet, and it has a bunch of flowers and stuff on it. There was another one that I wanted to use, but I used it for another thing down. Oh, look, I'm fixing the thing again because it's really bothering me. I used the one that I was going to use for the first day of spring lower on in the day, which I will show you guys in a second. But yeah, so I used that little emoji to mark first day of spring, and then I had to cut my washi again, and I have been cutting the washi so crooked lately that it just looks crooked because I can't cut it straight apparently. So I cut the washi again, and then, or that full box again, and I used a Little Miss Papery Sleep In sticker, and I put that right on top. See, we're struggling because it's crooked and it was really bothering me. But I put in the Sleep In sticker to mark that I obviously slept in. We're not going to be marking sleeping in very much longer because I'm running out of sleep in stickers. Also, I got new tweezers off of Amazon, so I will link those down below. If you guys want to check them out. I've been meaning to get tweezers for like the longest time to make my life easier, and I just had never gotten them. So I finally got them, so if you guys are curious, they will be linked down below. All of the tools that I use will be linked down below. I also got a new pair of scissors, which I will see if I can try to find. They're actually, fun fact, Lord DIY scissors. If you guys have ever heard of her, she's a YouTuber. She's a big DIY YouTuber, and she has her own like DIY range, and she has holographic scissors, which are technically fabric scissors, but I'm using them for other things and using them for planing, and I just really like them because they're like holographic or like oil slick scissors, and they're really cute. So look at me adjusting things because it really bothers me because it's crooked because I can't put things down straight. Oh no, I'm moving things up. Never mind, I lied. But yeah, if you guys want to know, all of my tools and everything will always be linked down below. So yeah, we have the sleep in, and then I used a Coffee Monsters Co. emoji that is dressed in like scrubs and doctors to mark Grey's Anatomy binge. I like using little character stickers that are dressed in like doctor and scrubs and stuff like that to mark Grey's Anatomy. I also was doing it for the Good Doctor, just because it's easier to use it that way than to like mark it with a bunch of, oh yeah, I had another one of me just staring at a laptop. So I think it's a little bit different, and I also don't go to the doctor as much as I probably should, so I don't actually have to worry about like me using those on a daily basis. Underneath that, I then use a little YouTube play button and an edit script from Magic Prince Co. to mark that I edited some videos. I used a Scribble Prince Co. hand with a blue nail polish bottle to mark that I needed to paint my nails. I always forget that I have these, and I finally remembered, I think in my last plan with me, that I had them, and that was, what's it called? I decided to use that because I'm running low on like the character stickers for painting your nails. And then I put down a little fancy label and a paper and milk Maro to mark Don't Tell Me Not to Ask Why, which is a poetry book. I've explained this in my last plan with me. RH Sin, which is a Instagram account that is obviously on Instagram. I follow them, and they have really good like quotes and stuff like that. And I picked up one of the books that is, or a couple of the books that are poetry books, and I was reading it on this day, and I got it on this day. So really like it. It's really like, they've really helped me, and I really like them. So if you guys, I think my mom came home at this point. I was like, why did I like drop the pen? And the pen disappeared. But yeah, I definitely recommend you guys check them out if you guys are struggling with either letting go or like relationships or anything like that. Go check them out. And then underneath that, I put a little munchkin with that is smelling the flowers. So this was the sticker I was actually going to use for the first day of spring. But I wanted to use this one to mark that there were so many flowers. Literally on this day is when I noticed all of the flowers just bloomed, and I was so excited. So originally this sticker had Smell the Flowers with it on these. It was from the spring bucket list, but I did cut off the script on there, and I just used the sticker itself. And I think it turned out really cute. I really like it. And then underneath that, I used a foiled icon from Magic Prince Co. to mark a Target run. So yeah, that was it for Wednesday. Pretty simple. Nothing crazy is happening. I'm going to start talking about Thursday because it's going to be the long one. So moving on to Thursday, first thing I did was I put down that washi as well as a payday sticker. That is from Arctic Paper Studio, which again has that gold foiling in it. Underneath that, I took a Celeste sticker from Scribble Prince Co. to mark that I needed to fold my laundry. And then, sorry, I know I'm like talking, even though you guys can't see what I'm doing, but it's purely just because I need to get down to the bottom of that. And then underneath that, I used a Fox and Cactus Girl in Scrubs. I believe this is like the nursing one, to mark a Grey's Anatomy binge. And, oh, someone's calling me. No, it's a telemarketer. Go away. And then I used a film script and a camera from Magic Prince Co. to mark that I had some filming day. And then, okay, so at this point, I'll start explaining to you what had happened. So my dad was admitted into the hospital on this day. He went to the ER in the middle of the day, and at that point, he was there with my sister. They told me, oh, hey, don't come down yet. Like, we will, like, keep you updated and everything. So I was just going about my day as normal. I also organized some stickers and stuff like that. So I was going about my day as normal. And the reason why he went to the ER was he had injured himself and was having side effects from it. So he couldn't get antibiotics into his system fast enough for him to be able to essentially be okay. So he had to go to the ER to get the heavy-duty antibiotics, and they ended up admitting him into the hospital. Originally, what it was supposed to be was him going to the ER, hopefully getting antibiotics, and leaving, which then turned into him going to the ER, getting admitted into the hospital for observation overnight. So this was the day he got admitted into the hospital. So like I said, I was organizing stickers earlier in the day, so I used a Lolly and Pop to mark that. And then I did use a half box with another one of those Dr. Emojis to mark that he got admitted into the hospital. And then that night, when he was admitted, they actually said I could stay, which I was planning on doing, but he did not let me stay in the hospital. So I ended up having to go home, so we went home. We did get In-N-Out because we did not eat at all. So we did stop and get some In-N-Out, which I used a wonton in a million steamy to mark that. So that is the first day of it. The second day, so the next day, he was still in the hospital. He did not want me to call out because he just doesn't like people calling out of work. Well, not only that, also, in his opinion, it wasn't worth it for me to call out. He's like, no, go to work. Go. You don't need to be here with me. So I did go to work on the Friday. That was when I found out that he had to get surgery because the infection had spread and he needed to get surgery to clean out the area and essentially make sure that nothing bad was going to happen, didn't affect any bone and stuff like that. So we found out he had to get surgery on Friday. And then Saturday was the day of his surgery, and then he came home, I believe, the Monday after. He was still in the hospital on Sunday. So, yeah, he was in the hospital for about 5 days, I believe. So that's the very shortened version of it, but that is what had happened. So on Friday itself, I put down, first off, the work label, because like I said, I did go to work because, obviously. I then put down a bill due because I had a bill due on this day. I then used a foiled icon from Scribble code to mark that I needed to call scheduling. I believe they tried to call me in early. I think they did, and I had to call them back or something. I'm not entirely sure. I honestly don't remember. This whole time of my, life, this whole section, I was very tired, very exhausted, and just kind of in a haze, if that makes sense. I wasn't really processing a lot of stuff just because I was so worried and everything. So this whole section, this whole entire weekend was just a very interesting weekend for me. So I had to call scheduling. I then took a little Andrea with the bags from the kit itself to mark that I needed to go to Ulta. I had to get more foundation. I believe it was foundation. It was either my primer or foundation, one of the two. But I had to go to Ulta to do that. Underneath that, I put down a quarter box and a very sad fox and cactus, emoji head, to mark that my dad had to get surgery. So like I said, we found out he had to get surgery on this day. Originally, we were hoping he was going to get discharged on this day, because that was what their original observation was, oh yeah, he's going to get discharged. He'll be out hopefully the next day as long as everything goes good. He had, I think, 12 rounds of heavy-duty antibiotics, so he had a ton of antibiotics put into his system, so they were able to flush out that, but they still also had to have the surgery in order to make sure that nothing was inside his bloodstream and stuff like that. So, or not in his bloodstream, to make sure that it didn't affect the bone and everything. There you go. So, he had to get surgery. Moving on to underneath that, I used a facepalm munchkin to mark that I had to back out of the Starbucks drive-thru. So this was entertaining. So I went to Starbucks that day because exhausted, just all completely exhausted, needed coffee. And the Starbucks that I go to is very tiny, and it has a very, sharp curve going out of the drive-thru. So I had a really big truck in front of me, and he got stuck because he was not able to go around that really sharp curve. So I had to back out. I got my coffee, but I had to back out of the Starbucks drive-thru, all because this guy had tried to go up the curve and go back, or the curve and go back down. He tried to do that, and that was the whole reason why I had to back out, because he got stuck. So, yeah, we had to back out of the drive-thru. It was a fun time. It's also a really weird shaped drive-thru, so I was like, this is weird, because I gotta, curve around, and I'm struggling, so there was that. And then I put down a Bippity and Boo from Glam Planner to mark that I had a 10-hour shift. Like I said, I got called by scheduling, so I had to call them back, and they had me come in early to work a longer shift. So, yeah, we had an exciting day on this day. We actually had an exciting weekend. It was an interesting time. So, that is it for Friday. Moving on to Saturday. So, I put down, obviously, the work label. And then I used another one of those munchkins. Did I use the same one? Oh, no. I used a different one earlier. I used the munchkin that is sitting in bed, yawning, to mark that I needed to wake up early. I wanted to make sure that I was at the hospital with my family when my dad went into surgery, and his surgery was at 8 a.m. So I worked not only a 10-hour shift the night before, I was off at midnight, and then I had to get up at 6:37 to be at the hospital before my dad's surgery. So, yeah. So I used the munchkin to mark waking up early. We did get coffee because I can't survive without coffee, so I used a munchkin that has the UGG, like, little, what's it called? Coffee cup with it to mark that coffee, because but first coffee, always the coffee. And then underneath that, I put down another one of those squared off boxes and another one of those emojis with the doctor's like scrubs on it to mark my dad's surgery. That was at 8 a.m. It was a pretty quick surgery, thankfully, so it wasn't super long, and he was perfectly okay. Nothing bad happened or anything like that. So he had his surgery at 8 a.m. I did, underneath that, mark that I needed to call Antonio. He is one of my managers, and him and another one of my managers knew what was happening. I told them on the Friday when I was at work because they were keeping me updated on things. And I asked permission to be on my phone at work, essentially, to make sure I can get updates on things. And so I had to call him because I was not going to make it to work on time. There was no way I was going to be able to make it at work on time. It was impossible. So I called him, and he pushed my shift back by an hour, which was super nice, which I really appreciated. So I had to call him, so I used a little scribbler from Scribble Points Code to mark that. And then I did put down some more of that washi just to kind of take up some space because I didn't have much else to mark on this day because the rest of it after that was just going to work. So I put down a piece of that washi and then a half box and a little exhausted munchkin to mark that I was so exhausted because I was up by this point because getting off at midnight, having to get up not too long after. I also commute to work, so me finally getting home, finally falling asleep and stuff, and then getting up, going to the hospital, going for my dad's surgery, and then going straight back to work again. I was just exhausted by that point. So I used that munchkin to mark so exhausted because literally I was so exhausted and I was just mentally drained too, and it was a lot. This weekend was just very interesting. So yeah, but we're good now. It's fine now. My dad's recovering. We're good. So that is it for Saturday. Moving on to Sunday. First thing I did was I put down that work label again, as always. Sorry, I had a hiccup for a second. And then underneath that, I put down a Magic Prince Co. washing machine that is to mark that I needed to wash my costume because we still got to go to work. We still got to wash our costumes. We still got to all do that. So I had to wash my costume. And then I put down a quarter box underneath that. And I don't remember. Crap. Where is this sticker from? I don't remember where this sticker is from. I believe it's... Nope, I don't remember. Hold on. Let me double check 1 second. Hold on. Okay, sorry. It's been a while since I've used a sticker from this shop. So I used a Kina Prince sticker. They are like the Meredith Grey stickers from her shop. I'm not entirely sure, honestly, if her shop is still open. It's been a very, very, very long time since I have like shopped from her shop or even used a sticker from her shop, so I'm not 100% sure if she is still open, but that is where that sticker is from. I then put a little piece of washi underneath that just to kind of fill up some space. Again, I didn't want to use Simply Gilded washi, so I just cut up the bottom washi and just used that instead. Underneath that, I then took a Once More With Love munchkin to mark that I needed to clean my room. And honestly, if you guys notice, a lot of the colors that I used are green just because I really wanted to bring in that green color. And then I used a car icon from the kit to mark that I needed to get gas. And then underneath that, I actually didn't have another like sticker to use to mark this. So I put down a Little Things label. And I used the little bow from the kit, which I don't usually use the bows from the kit. Which is just like my personal preference, I guess. I don't know, I don't usually use them, but I used that to mark that I need to submit a trade just because I had already used the like clock icon that I used earlier in the spread to submit a trade, so I wanted to use something else, but I didn't know what, so I just used the bow just because I saw it and I was like, that's cute. So I used that to mark that I need to submit another trade. And then last but not least, underneath that, I used a emoji to mark that I needed to fold some laundry. So that is actually everything for this plan with me. Did I? Oh no, it was the next week. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting week, honestly, if I'm being completely honest. Beginning of it was pretty decent, and then just at the end of it, just kind of downward spiral and everything. Update on my dad at the moment. He is still currently recovering. He is obviously out of the hospital, but he is recovering, and he is doing a lot better, which is nice. It's been a long recovery process, but he's doing better for now. So, yeah, definitely appreciate that, and I'm sure I'm gonna get those comments of you guys being like, oh, I'm glad your dad is feeling better and everything. So, in advance, I appreciate those of you who are gonna comment. Thank you. I appreciate it, because I get those comments every now and then. I'm like, I appreciate all of you guys. So, thank you for sticking with me through this playing with me. I actually really liked how this spread turned out. It's a very different color palette than most spreads, because a lot of them don't have greens or browns in them, and I don't know, I just really liked it and thought it was very springy and very appropriate for the first day of spring. So I am going to zoom you guys out and flip through what is left in the kit. It was a mini kit, so I did have a decent amount of stuff still, or not decent amount, but like a semi amount of stuff left over. I don't know. I have a lot more, obviously, with Ultimate Kits than I do with mini kits. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you guys for sticking with me through my Plan With Me's. I am hopefully slowly catching up. I have one more already, like, filmed after this one. And then I'm hoping to catch up on them. So we're going to do a little wiggle really quickly. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel if you are not already, and comment down below anything you want, and I will see you guys in another video very, very soon. Bye, guys!